Star Wars The Last Jedi is written and directed by Rian Johnson and stars Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Andy Serkis, Donald Gleeson, Kelly Marie Tran, with Laura Dern and Benicio del Toro. The First Order, led by Kylo Ren and General Hux, is hot on the trail of the Resistance following the events of Star Wars The Force Awakens. It is up to Finn, Poe, and General Leia to survive this onslaught, while Rey goes out to search for her true Jedi powers under the tutelage of Luke Skywalker. I think Rian Johnson had the most difficult task when he signed up to do Episode 8, because sure, J.J. Abrams was expected to bring Star Wars back away from the prequels, reinvigorate it for a new audience, and he did that. But Rian Johnson had to move along with those characters, find new ways for them to move forward, create a good movie, another Star Wars movie that does right by fans, that can also be enjoyed by people who aren't the biggest fans of Star Wars, and also still manage to continue on the story without it ever feeling too much like The Empire Strikes Back. And honestly, Rian Johnson does that. The way that he constructs the story and the characters, the way that he moves everything forward, he makes some bold, risky moves that I'm sure are going to make a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm not too sure if I like that. That's okay. That's fine, because it's different. There are a couple of times where it might feel like Empire Strikes Back. There are so many times when I just had no idea what was going to happen next. Characters would do something that would just come out of nowhere, that would go against so many fan theories out there. I've heard them all, and they honestly mean nothing in this film. And that's fantastic. Once we start to get into the climax, there is a big chunk of this movie where everything is starting to come together and it's all happening at exactly the same time. My heart was pounding so hard. Chalk that up to the editing, the direction, writing, performances, everything was pulling together to create just an incredible, explosive experience. Rian Johnson gave me that. He gave me such incredible lightsaber battles, space battles, solid mixing of CGI and practical effects, and truly magnificent performances from pretty much everyone involved. Daisy Ridley is again a triumph as Rey. She evolves her character and she gives us yet another really strong performance. John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran have wonderful chemistry with each other. Oscar Isaac is given so much more to do. Kylo Ren is so much more menacing but so complex, so unbelievably deep. I don't know how to feel about his character. He just does things that I think, that's amazing, but that's also so weird. I don't know. Donald Gleeson and Andy Serkis are both kind of menacing, but in very different ways. Laura Dern was a big surprise. Her character I actually really felt for. General Leia feels so much more like Carrie Fisher than she's ever done before. And Mark Hamill, holy shit. I have loved Luke Skywalker ever since I was 5 years old. And what Rian Johnson was able to give me in this movie, what Mark Hamill was able to deliver with this character, was absolutely perfect in every single way. He will do things that people will probably be disappointed by, be a little underwhelmed by, but as he says in the trailer, this is not going to go the way you think. That is exactly what his character is. I loved every single scene that had him in it. I loved so much of this movie. I do have problems, however, and I understand that if other people have bigger problems, that's okay, because this movie is quite challenging. There is so much that goes on in its rather weighty 2.5 hour running time. I feel like there are some scenes which are a little too extended. We could have cut them off or just gone in a different direction. I think that the Canto Bight casino stuff, which is pretty much in the center of the movie, is fine, but just there are parts of it that are not executed well. There's a little too much coincidence and a little too much reliance on CG creatures. We have a brand new CG creature, which is this weird space horse thing, which, just like The Force Awakens of Rogue One, is probably the weakest part of this movie. And I really hope that in Episode 9 we don't have another kind of silly CG creature, because we just don't really need it. I'm perfectly fine looking at porgs, which are used in a simple nice little way. They're not in your face about it like the marketing would suggest. I think I need to see this movie again. I think everyone who goes to see this film will probably go out of it thinking, I need to see that again to really process it. Star Wars is in a good place. Rian Johnson has made a great film. He has used cinematographer Steve Yellen in such perfect ways. Together they have created some absolutely outstanding visuals, some shot compositions which are just gorgeous in every single way. This is probably the best looking Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back, and John Williams returns again to form another strong Star Wars score. Everything one loves about Star Wars is right here, but this movie still manages to do things that, honestly, I thought were impossible for a Star Wars movie to do. Star Wars The Last Jedi, to me, was a great experience. It was a wild, untamed, complex, challenging, deeply involving, emotional, funny, and honestly just different experience. And I wish to keep discussing this film with so many more people. So Star Wars The Last Jedi, have you seen it? Please tell me what you think about it in the comments below. There are going to be videos linked down here or one over there. For more Mr. Movies, please press my little face right there. Thanks for watching.